You say a writer should be writing every day.
Yeah.
Do we always need to know what the story is?
I always need to be writing a story. I I love being in it. I mean, it really is my favorite thing. It really does bring me happiness. It doesn't bring me happiness every second, but when things are going well and when I'm really interested in a story and excited and really eager to find certain things out and how I connect one thing with another thing, I love being in it. That's really what I like to do with my time. I mean, essentially since I was like in my late teens, time has always been the most important thing to me. And when I say time, I mean time to write. So I've always had jobs, or I've always made my living in such a way that I could at least have maybe a couple hours in the morning. Like I worked for 9 years teaching ESL, but I taught, like afternoon and evening classes so that I could maybe have a little time in the morning, or, it doesn't work out every day. I mean, but most days it does. And I just love spending my time that way. I love seeing where stories are going to go. I love sort of technical challenges. I love trying to write different kinds of stories than I've done before. And like I was saying earlier, like the improvisational nature of storytelling is just, it's very attractive to me. And it's a way of dealing with both difficult parts of life and also joyful parts of life. Recently I was reminded of this Hasidic saying that I read about many, many years ago in a Heschel book, and it goes basically like this. There are 3 ways that a person expresses deep sorrow. On the first level, the person cries. On the next level up, the person remains silent. And at the highest level, the person knows how to make his sorrow into a song. And I think when I read that 20, 30 years ago, or whenever it was, I thought, that's it, like that's what I would like to spend my time doing, is trying to write songs. And for me, stories have something in common with songs. Like it's the thing that you're trying to do so that your sorrow will have a form and a melody. And I don't know, stories are built on many things other than sorrow, but to have a place for that when there often doesn't seem a place for it in real life, it's very dear to me. Like writing it's really in many ways the most precious thing to me.
And off topic, just for a moment, you came to LA to be a songwriter?
Yeah, I did. Did you read that in an interview?
A little birdie told me, yeah. Okay. So you flew to LA? And
I did. I bought a one-way plane ticket. I was 18 years old. And yeah, I wanted to be a songwriter. I already was writing songs. They weren't very good. They were terrible. But yeah.
In what style? Sorry, what?
Everything. Folk, rock, blues. Yeah. But I mean, what happened with that was, there's so many talented musicians in Los Angeles, and I was taking guitar lessons from a very talented musician, and I had to, accept that I just don't have the talent to do this. Like, I may enjoy playing music for myself, but in terms of, being able to do this as a vocation, I just don't have it. And it wasn't that long after that sort of short stories presented themselves to me in a literature class at a community college. And it was like an immediate match. Like, I felt like I can do this, and it feels very related to what I was already doing, but, I don't know. It just seemed like something that I could be cut out for. And, I've had a lot of losses, as everyone does, but I've fortunately held on to this, for all of my adult life. And it's been the thing that's given me sort of a continuity, not to mention, like this underpinning of meaning.
Have you ever written a short story about the music industry?
God, that first, that I was telling you that what happened was, I took a fiction writing workshop with Marilyn Robinson at Skidmore College one summer, and she's the one that gave that prompt, write something from the point of view of an unreliable narrator. And I had been writing a story about a jazz pianist, but the story wasn't working for many reasons. And I had been working on it for years. And when she gave that prompt, I thought, aha, I'm going to have this jazz pianist be the narrator. Because what I was doing is it was a third person story, and he was one of the characters in the story. But what's really special about him is in his mind, and I wasn't really capturing that using this particular third person point of view. We're back to structure, right? Like, you have to find the structure that's right for the story, not a pre-existing structure, but the structure that works for that particular piece. And once I realized, it's his story, because he's bipolar, and his wife has committed suicide. He's had a lot of difficulties, and the story needs to come from inside of him. And once I understood that was what was necessary to tell the story, I think I wrote it in like 3 days. I mean, I knew exactly what had to be done. But again, if I hadn't spent all of those years trying to write it in other ways, it's paying your dues. You got to just work at it, and then